everyone, welcome back to Pommyinoz. I hope you're all doing really well. If you are new around here, please drop a like, please drop a sub. We're well on the way to the road to 1K. It'd be awesome if we can hit it at some point this year. The year is still young, so we've got plenty of opportunity. A couple of new announcements. We now do have a Discord, so if you're into that kind of thing, come and hang out. We're having a bit of a chat there, getting to know each other. It's a real friendly community and a little bit of fun each way there. Get a chance as well to share your suggestions and ideas and hopefully be featured on the channel because we've had some great ideas already. Now, that being said, this week's video, AFLW Round 3, is upon us and it's the tipping video. So let's have a quick look at last week's results. So we tipped Carlton to win again and it totally backfired. We got that one wrong. Could have been right. We went for the full hog, but unfortunately no dice. But after that, we had a clean sweep. We got the pies right, we got the D's right, we got the roos right, we got the lions right, and we got the crows right. And Frio, so that works out at, what, 6 out of 7? Not a bad effort, I think, and I'm super proud of that. So that takes us, at the moment, to 12 out of 15. Hey, that's pretty good. You know, I'd take that, 12 out of 15. If you can do that all the time, you're laughing, ain't you? Let me know how you got on in the comments, and let's get straight into round 3. So, obviously, we begin round 3 with Geelong versus the Doggies at GMHBA tomorrow evening. And, obviously, the Doggies, they're up and about, aren't they? Got a wonderful win against the Carlton girls. Geelong, on the other hand, they're 0-2. And it's going to be tough, I think, for Geelong. You've got Ellie Blackburn, who's on absolute fire at the minute. It's going to be really tough to stop her. She is playing a different part. Geelong, obviously, they've really had a tough run-up. They had, what, North round 1. Then they had the Pies last week. They seem to have it in spurts, but I think what Doggies have is they've had control. You see their games they've had this year, that they control, they adapt to a game plan, they can enforce their style on it. I think it's going to be really a job too far for Geelong. I can't see Geelong getting anything out of this, and I would say that the Doggies will win this quite comfortably by 10 or more. Up next, on Saturday, we've got GWS versus the Gold Coast Suns. Now, GWS, they're kind of tough to categorise for me of where they are, because they flatter to deceive, but then they have moments of just like imploding. Obviously, they've had probably the toughest start you could have, Adelaide and Fremantle, and obviously they had the COVID where they had to be locked down. It's going to be tough because they've had a lot stacked against them. It's going to be tough, really, let's be honest. But they did show signs last week that shows to me that they are in and amongst it. They can get around it. Suns, on the other hand, they play a really attacking game plan. I really enjoy watching the Gold Coast Suns girls play. They really give it a go. They show no respect. And you can see that they've got a style that they want to implement. And it looks good. I mean, obviously last week, 2 points though. That is my dubious thing. They got absolutely belted, but they really do give it a go. And when I was watching that game, I felt like that Gold Coast need to learn to control the footy. You can't go direct all the time. You can't go Hail Mary football, because if you set up right like Lions did, you'll get destroyed. I really do think that, again, GWS will win this quite comfortably. I'm going to tip GWS. They'll win by 10 or more. Should be a foregone conclusion. Late in that day, we're at the Moorabbin. We're seeing St Kilda, my wife's team, versus my team, the Carlton Blues. And tough start for the girls, obviously. My girls, they were, what, many people's flag favourites. They were mine. And, yeah, 0-2. They've done it before, though. They've turned it around. They're going to have to. It was good to hear Dan Harford, slate them and be really honest in the interview at the end of the game. They're going to have to improve. Usually at this stage, when you're seeing Georgia G, you're seeing Prasparkis, you're seeing Harris hit the goals, you'd be quite excited. But it's these lapses, these goals out of back, and they're against the St Kilda side, who really have just been simply impressive. They were obviously came up against the best side for me this year in the comp last year, and this year, and that's ominous because all right, they got beat, but they have shown a bit, and they've shown that if they get a sniff of a win, they can score quite quickly. North Melbourne did really well to contain them though, and I'm looking at Carlton's goals, and I think our defence and our backline is very similar to North Melbourne's. I'm going to tip the Carlton girls here. They'll win this, and I think they're going to put on a show. I'm going to go again 10 plus for this one. I think the Carlton girls will put on a performance, and my wife will go home very unhappy. In the evening, we've got an absolute belter here. We've got Melbourne versus North Melbourne. Two undefeated sides, and it's two styles that contrast each other. You've got the dominant North Melbourne versus Melbourne, who, you know, really just strategically win their games. They really look at it. But one thing they've added this year is the ability to score. 50-point average this year. It's really exciting, and it's against the best backline in the comp. Now, North Melbourne, they may have missed a lot of opportunities last week, but they showed that they don't have to be clinical to hurt teams. And I'm super excited about seeing these two go ahead. I think, you know, Melbourne's experience, the way they control the footy, the very mature side. They've fed some youngsters into that side, and they really buy into the ethos of cultivating wins. North Melbourne, they're the Flash Harrys, aren't they, of this league. They play an exciting brand, they look to impose, they look to build from the back, and they look to hurt you in the scoreboard. I think this is going to be an absolute belting game, and I can't wait for it. I've got the beers cooled, I'm excited for it. And I'm going to tip Melbourne. I'm going to go against the grain. I think Melbourne's experience, and I thought there was enough that St Kilda worried North last week, just in patches, and I reckon Melbourne can improve on that. I'm going to tip the Melbourne Demons on this one. Then Sunday, we've got Adelaide versus Freo. Super excited about this game. This is another brilliant game. And this would have been my pick for a Friday fixture. I think this is a ripping fixture. Adelaide look strong. Ebony Marenhoff, Erin Phillips, then you've got Hatchard. They've got talent coming out of the seams, Adelaide Crows. And they're playing good footy, and they're resourceful. They're really resourceful. They can play ugly, they can play smart. And I'm excited about seeing their midfield go up against Bowers of Fremantle as well. She's an absolute jet, an absolute clinical precision player. And it's going to be exciting to see the battles of the midfield, because we know Fremantle, they grind wins out. They grinded last week. They can play beautiful footy as well. And I think Fremantle are going to be looking to have to ugly this up a little bit. They can make it a bit scrappy, because once Marinoff, once Hatchard, once Phillips, they get freedom. There's match winners all around the ground. I think it's going to be a job too much for Fremantle here. I really think the Crows will win this one. I'm going to pick the Crows, and I think they'll win this by +10. Then a couple of hours later, in the mid-afternoon, we'll call it, Brisbane host Collingwood at Hickey Park. Now, this is going to be an interesting one, because again, this is two clubs who are undefeated, and Brisbane come off the back of a real clinic. They absolutely put Gold Coast to the sword, and it was great footy, and it was a great display of defence and a great display of attack. Collingwood, on the other hand, with Brianna Davey, have looked absolutely elite. They look like a side that are really building for something, and they play a great brand. They control the footy, they move the footy really well as well. Brisbane, they really are very direct. They look to get it into that forward line. They've got very talented forwards. They lock it in very well, and they put a lot of pressure on you as well. They play a high defensive line as well, which is similar to how Carlton play, and we know Collingwood had great success against that. Now, it's tough to pick a winner here, but I've got a sneaky feeling that the Pies will continue their run. I really back the Pies in. I think the Pies have just got enough class around the ground. I think, you know, with Davey and you've got Bonocchi and players like that, I think it's just a solid outfit, and I think the Pies will get up. Richmond then host at Punt Road the Eagles in the evening fixture, and both sides, when we go from an undefeated, we go to a not won yet. And the West Coast Eagles, they look to me, even though they had a good game last week, they look shocking from midfield to forward line. I can't see how they can kick enough goals to beat sides. Where Richmond, on the other hand, they've got talent in their team. It's just coming together. And I said last week, I think Richmond just need a win. Just need a win. And I think it'll come here. I think Conti is, for me, one of the best players in this competition. She does not get enough kudos. I'd have her top 3 in the comp. I think she's elite. She finds the ball. She's evasive. She makes space for others. She brings other people in. And she's just dynamic. And I think with Hoskin helping her, they've got a good, strong forward line. I can't see the West Coast Eagles threatening at the opposite end of the scoreboard to do any damage. So I'm tipping Richmond here. They are my tips. Please let me know in the comments. Please join the Discord group. I'd love to see you and get to know you all. Link is in the description. Until next time, Pom out.